Vipassana is a technique which consists of sitting down, closing your eyes, and observing your breathing. Breathing must be natural, and you simply have to observe it. That is it. You do not have to do anything else. You will sit and watch your breath with your eyes closed. To begin this technique, you need to sit quietly and observe your breathing. The place where you sit matters. But unfortunately, finding the right place is not easy in our time. The best place to practice Vipassana is the forest, away from everyone and close to nature, where all beings are in awareness. Pollution is also a problem for those who practice Vipassana. So, choose an unpolluted place, another very difficult thing in our day. However, the speaker began by meditating in a polluted city. So any place is fine to start. But the moment your mind becomes more sensitive, you will feel the need to move closer to nature, to live and practice meditation. The simplest observation point is the entrance to the nose. When the breath comes in, you will feel the contact at the beginning of the nasal passage. Start observing from this point. For most people, this is the best place. But the observation must be passive. Otherwise, there is a risk of altering the rhythm of the breath. There are people who subconsciously alter the breath to make it more easily observable. That is no good. When the speaker started practicing Vipassana, he altered his breathing, making it more vigorous so that it was more simple observable. But he did this only for a few minutes. This also you can do, but only the first few times. Because when we are relaxed, the breath will become so subtle that it becomes very difficult to observe. The breath itself is too subtle. At first, just observe the contact. Feel the breath coming in observe it, and then continue to observe it as it enters you. Do not vary the pace. Watch it passively. Keep following it up to the navel, but do not be the one to take the breath down to the navel. It will take time and an unrepressed life for the breath to go down to the navel. The breath of modern man is very superficial. This means that he uses only the upper part of the lungs. The breath never goes down to the navel. Cathartic meditation and therapy groups can help solve this problem. Above all, you do not have to repress your mind. The more the mind is repressed, the more shallow the breath is. From a physical point of view, the more polluted the air we breathe, the more shallow our breathing will be. Until you are comfortable, continue to observe the breath without worrying about the depth it reaches. Do not worry about anything. It does not matter how many times you forget to watch your breath. The important thing is that when you remember it, you go back to observe the breath. When you identify with the mind, that is, you start thinking, you will forget about the breath. After a period of time, which can vary from a few minutes to several minutes, you will remember to go back to observing the breath. This is the psychological movement that occurs during the practice of Vipassana. The speaker will explain it again. You sit and observe your breath. After a few seconds, you forget to observe it. This means that you start thinking. You are distracted. There is something happening inside of you at some point, and you will remember to watch the breath again. Then go back to watching the breath. After a few seconds, you will forget it. After a few minutes have passed, you will remember it again. So on for the whole hour. This cycle is called Vipassana. The moment you remember to observe the breath, gently return to observe it. Be kind to yourself. Do not use psychological violence against yourself. You are both sides. You are the part of the mind the want to watch the breath, but you are also the part that makes you forget it. There is no difference between the two sides of you. You are a unit. The thinker is the same who wants to observe the breath. Do not energize this division. The speaker repeats, you are the one who observes and the one who gets distracted and thinks. There is no division. The one exists because the other exists. They are a unity. You are the one who thinks and the thinking process. The one who does not want to think and the one who thinks are the same mind. This division we call mind. Mind is who think and the thinking process. You exist because your mind thinks, but the moment the mind stops thinking, you will no longer exist. Only in that moment you really exist. For now, you are just an idea, an illusion created by others to cover your true center, your soul. So, be kind to yourself. If you forget to observe the breath, it is a natural thing, completely obvious. If you use psychological violence against yourself, in the moment you return to observe the breath, it will increase your division. You will become even more divided than you already are. To understand what the speaker means by violence against oneself, you need to experience it. You can look at the people who belong to any religion. They are all very violent people. Their violence is not directed at others, but against themselves. If you want to understand what the speaker means by violence, you can observe religions, people. The more a person's mind is divided, the more a physical problem he or she will have. 75% of diseases are psychological in origin. The speaker will talk about this in another video. In the following, the speaker will go more in depth in the analysis of the breath. What the speaker shares with you must absolutely not alter the rhythm of your breathing. You just have to observe. The speaker will never direct or repeating it. This is the most important part of the technique. Do not vary the rhythm of the breath. If you forget to watch your breath, there is nothing wrong with it. But if you observe a breath whose rhythm has been altered, the observation is completely useless. The breath cycle is divided into 4 parts. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. By pause, the speaker means that breathing stops. The breath enters and you feel it enter thanks to the contact between your nose and the air that moves. Then accompany it, follow it. You will find that at some point it stops. It stops somewhere near the navel for a moment, but it stops. The breath then goes up to the outside, follow it again, feel the contact of the breath coming out of the nose. Follow it, accompany it to the outside. Again, you will come to a point where, for a very brief moment, the breathing stops and the cycle starts again. It will take some time to be able to observe those pauses, because initially the duration of the breath will be short, that it is difficult to be aware of it. Your mind is moving too fast for now. So your body needs a large amount of oxygen. As a result, breathing will be fast. But over time, your mind will calm down, thoughts will always be present, but will move at a reduced speed. At this point, the body will be able to slow down the breath. Therefore, the pause between inhalation and exhalation will be longer. It will become more easily observable. This pause is the most mysterious thing in us, but it happens without our will. It cannot happen if we are present. It happens thanks to our absence. In that very short moment, we do not exist. In the witnesses that exist. That is your first experience with the observer, your soul, your being, your first meeting with God. This experience of the witness that take place in the pause will be very brief at the beginning, but with time and practice, accompanied by a suitable lifestyle, this pause will be bigger and bigger. By practicing this observation of the breath, which Gautama the Buddha called Vipassana or Anapanasati Yoga, you will notice that slowly the pause increases and widens more and more. Eventually it happens that the breath lasts for several minutes. At this moment, everything has stopped. The world has stopped, time has stopped, thought has stopped. You are living outside of time. You are part of eternity. Because it's not possible to think when the breath stops and when the breathing stops for several minutes. It is absolutely impossible to think, because the thought process is constantly in need of oxygen, and your cognitive process is deeply connected with breathing. To be continued. Thank you for listening.